We'll start this meeting. First item of business is tabulation of the remade ballots.
So yesterday we had a team come in that was open to the public where they remade the Yucava ballots and the DSU 100 rejected. So we will read those in. We've already ran 0 tapes for both of the machines.
Okay.
They're in their red bags. And I followed what they asked us to do in regards to the signing of the back of the duplicates. Fingers crossed they read in.
Yeah.
That's what signed them after the fact. So. Did I just click that on? No, it was me. Oh, sorry. I feel like that.
I wanted to make sure you're awake.
My face.
Oh, my goodness. Seal steel. Oh, it's that person with the wagon. I still think you need one of those. I think she's going to the other door.
I did really good. I left
Everything in your car.
mine's my laptop.
How many purses you got?
I didn't bring. Look, that's my key fob today.
There you go.
My
Wow.
pockets.
Way to go.
Got some hand sanitizer. Violet vanilla. Would you like some? It's delicious to smell, not to drink.
I just hope you weren't drinking.
I don't need any more of it.
What's in your coffee?
A double shot.
Little course.
Oh, that's it. Say it again.
Need some WD-40.
Get those out and.
Okay. Season. What does it mean when it's not in the poll book? They're not registered voters?
That's yes.
Okay.
Mhm. But a lot of times there's a reason for that. It
Okay.
should go through those. That's why they had to vote.
Okay. And they just couldn't be found in the poll book. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not registered.
Exactly.
Okay.
So on the rejected DSU 100 ones, I'm running in 4 full ballots, but then these 3 back pages
Oh,
will
yeah.
show up as counts.
Okay.
But they will show up as votes.
Okay. So we need to do
sounds
speed
good.
over the range and have. Get all year.
There is no, for recycling, there is a trailer in the middle of the parking lot in here that I think is meant for the signs.
Oh, that's what those are.
It's, the trailer says just cardboard on it,
Yeah.
so yeah. You're welcome.
I still think people are a little confused about registered in another county.
Oh,
Yes, you can transfer county to county, but you still have to go to that new county and vote there. But I'm glad that number's not higher.
yeah.
Huh? There you go. This one. Yeah, of this would I be allowed to film? Yeah, you can film all this. Okay. That is stuff.
A lot less free.
What's that? Oh, I'm the, yeah. Simple ballot. That's always nice.
Or, no, just the. Yeah. So we added 15 Uokavas and we added 4 DS200 rejects plus those 3 back pages. So this is the report from last or
Oh.
Tuesday night. So if you guys would initial the top, because when we run this next one, it'll show that this is where we started. And then this will be the addition of those so that we've got that paper trail for the addition of the ballots. And we ran that one this morning, right before you guys.
Oh,
came.
okay.
So, yeah, so.
Okay. We only need one copy.
That's the same one you
No,
guys,
I mean.
oh, just one copy. Lacey, they said, yeah.
I'm starting to really think about the paper.
So,
Like nice and shit.
Yeah,
it is a lot of paper.
it is.
And I appreciate us switching to just emailing results
Oh,
rather than
absolutely.
printing
Yeah.
all the results.
Easy.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot
We,
easier.
we just need to make sure that everybody understands that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
No, that most of them should say, I understand that because we don't need all the paper.
Well, and what makes it nice is everybody gets the results at the same
the same
time.
time.
Because remember when they used
Yeah.
to line up and
Yeah.
someone wanted to be first
Right.
to get the results?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, we don't have to worry about offending anyone who
Right.
wanted to be first and they didn't get it first. So,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
so.
If you had anybody ask you if emailing that, if there was a chance that the votes were messed with?
No, I haven't. Okay, so there are the new results. The number should have been 34,966 when we added the 15 and the 4, and that is what is reflected there.
And no races.
No.
have been changed.
No.
Okay.
The only one that was really, really close was the Elkins
Oh,
school
yeah.
board race on who went into the runoff election. But that race will not be settled until the general election. So we will keep an eye on it. I don't think there's any ballots out there that will change that when we certify.
Okay.
So, yeah,
What was the difference?
2.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
but
was-
it would have to be ballots that are in the Elkins School District.
Right.
So, yeah, so.
Do we know how many we've got out?
We have 10
Okay.
out, and I didn't take a look at
Yeah. Where they
at
were.
where they're from. So, and then of course we have the
Right,
youth provisionals
these,
here.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to provisionals.
Okay, so this sheet, this is all of the provisionals that were cast during early vote and election day. I'm so proud of all of my supervisors. They did every one of them through the poll book, which is what we have been going towards because it makes it easier. We know for sure the ballots won't read into the DS-200. It keeps a very accurate track of all of the provisionals. So they did an excellent job of doing them all through the poll book. I've broken them out into the categories of the ones that are yeses, nos, and the different types. And then the top part is early vote. The bottom part is election day because we have to keep them separate when we report. So for the commission to review, I have some that are just definitely, they're not registered to vote. The clerk
Okay.
has confirmed they're not registered to vote. There isn't an opportunity for us to count those. But I do have 3 that I wanted the commission to review. So okay, so the first one is for not going to say her name right, Olivera Peña, I think. So this voter, when they came into the polls, had told the supervisor that they had moved to Benton County. They're still registered to vote in Washington County, but they didn't have time to go to Benton County because we have the county to county transfer, which would allow them to go to Benton County, would allow them to update and vote in the county where they're currently living. So the supervisor had this individual vote a provisional ballot because the address that they gave was not the address that we have in our poll book. So this is a provisional. So the commission will need to determine whether to count or to not count this one.
Now, where is this person's name on the list?
So that one is,
Monica Cecilia.
she is election day. Yeah, and yep.
Number 21 on the right-hand side.
Yep. And then we also have a second one to Margaret Powers, which is directly below, same type of scenario. Still registered to vote in Washington County, but have told the supervisors that they had moved to Benton County. So we do have two.
So what's our normal way of looking at this issue? We have them vote provisional, but why would it be acceptable for them to vote in Washington County when they're living in Benton County?
It wouldn't with this new law. In previous years, I know the commission had reviewed, because you failed to do that county to county transfer. There was no recourse. You were still legally a registered voter, but you're not living in the county where you're registered to vote, and the deadline, you missed that deadline. But now that deadline allows you, it's gone, allows you to do this on election day. So in essence, this ballot would essentially be a ballot for someone who does not live in that precinct that they are actually living in. So they voted in a precinct that is not technically their precinct. So my suggestion, I think, would be that we would not count these
Right.
in this circumstance.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I hate not to count votes, but that law change made it easier for people
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah.
And I think if there's just maybe some confusion and misinterpretation of that, you still have to go to where you're currently living, and then they can do all that paperwork.
Right.
Okay.
My vote's going to be no as well on both of them.
Yeah.
We need to do anything.
I would have you sign the top copy of these where the county clerk has signed them, and that,
Here.
yeah,
Okay.
Down here.
Below.
yeah. And it just,
All of us are.
no, it just needs one signature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they are notified.
So I have letters, and I have, I'll have a commissioner sign each of the letters
Okay.
as well. And that they will be notified. They also received a letter at the polling location letting them know when the hearing would be, but this letter lets them know that their ballot did not count, and the reason why.
I appreciate the poll workers allowing them to vote a provisional and not make that
Yeah.
decision.
Renee, you think as chair, you should be the one to sign these?
Sure. As long as I don't have to put my phone number.
I don't want you to go back there. No.
Call you back in for meetings.
Really. I'm signing right here as the tables go. Right.
So this next one is this Michael Baker.
Okay.
So He is registered to vote. Yes, he is registered to vote. And his address was one address in the poll book. But he asked to change his address to a different one because his business address, that's his business address, and he wants that as his resident address. And so he voted a provisional because you can't use a business address as your residence address. And so
Unless they're the same.
unless they're the same, right? So the supervisor had him vote a provisional ballot because that's, we don't want the supervisors having to make that decision. So this is one where in essence, they've requested a different precinct or ballot style from where they were registered to vote. Now, he could present evidence to us to say that he does live there, but the conversation with the supervisor and the note from the supervisor is that he wants to use his business address listed rather than his residential address. So that's why I have flagged this one for the commission to make a decision on this one.
Is there a decision to be made if the law says you can't do it?
I would think no, that this would not be, but he could come to
Appeal
present.
it.
Exactly. That's why we have the hearing and then the commission. So basically, we are saying no, if the commission would say no at this point, but he can come next Thursday and present evidence or explain to us why he does believe that it should count. So
Are there exceptions in the law?
I don't, so basically where you live is the residential requirement. But where that is, is determined in some ways by the voter, what they tell us, how they registered to
Right.
vote. They sign the paperwork affirming that the information that they provide to us. So I don't know. There could be something else in there that would allow us to count this, but at this first glance, I would say that this would be a reject. Unless there is evidence presented on why it should count.
I would say we reject it and allow him to come and state a case that would be compelling enough that we would rescind the rejection.
Yeah.
But I mean, domicile is domicile.
Yeah. I agree.
I agree with that too, but what do
So
we take action today to reject it?
yes, because that way that will let me send him the letter to say that, yes, we have rejected it. And then if you want us to count it, you can come to this meeting to tell us. And in the meantime too, I can get clarification as well. But this allows us the opportunity to start the process for him to be able to come and appeal it. Oh, on the front page with the clerks. Yeah. And then this would be the letter.
Yeah, I'd like to look at it.
And we often have this happen especially with questions of tax or millage, where individuals own property inside where the tax is going to occur, but that's not where they live, but they own property in there. So that's the question is owning property,
And did
is
he
it
offer
where
any
you live?
reason why he wanted to?
Because his business is inside the city of Fayetteville, so he would not have been given the opportunity to vote on the sales tax without using his business as his address.
I think he left this back too. We should talk to the legislators.
So
I mean, he's probably the only one who's having to deal with that.
yeah, you have the other two.
What if there's an option? Someone that, even if it's such, business, and you want to vote on a tax where your business is. I can understand that, but it's
Right.
not an option in the law. We have no ability. I don't think we have ability.
Yeah.
Based off of the limited information we have now, I don't think there's a way that we could accept it.
Right.
Now, if he
Right.
comes to the hearing and then presents other evidence
Yeah.
that we could, then we'll certainly take a look at it and hear what he has to
Yeah.
say.
Okay, so these next five are all early vote provisionals that were cast by voters who are not registered to vote, and the clerk has confirmed that they are not registered to vote. So these would be no's.
Now, two of these say register to vote at DMV.
So we have been, and you'll see, we have been tracking those that register at the DMV, and then when they go to vote, they're not in there. It's just a way for, because we recognize that that is a problem. They technically are the same as not in poll book, but this, we track it that way because I
Yeah.
think it's important to note that there is an issue with registering at the DMV at times and getting your voter registration there. So we just kind of track it that way.
Yeah.
But yes, now this one registered at DMV a day after the deadline. But this one has a note. She registered to vote at the DMV, but it's not in the system. So it does let us know, because if these individuals who did register to vote at the DMV kept their receipt,
Exactly, yeah.
their receipt shows that they registered to vote at the DMV and can come and present this one. Now, this one that registered after the deadline,
Mhm.
there wouldn't be any option, but the one where it's marked here, depending on what her receipt shows, they would be able to count. So these would all be no's. And so,
Any discussion about those?
No, yeah.
When we send the rejection letter, do we send them a register to vote?
so they will have done that when they filled out this paperwork. So yeah.
Everyone gets a piece.
Who wants the last?
I think it's yours,
Go
Joe.
for it.
I got two already,
Okay.
but I appreciate your concern.
And then here would be the letters.
You reach?
Oh, sorry, Renee.
Short arms. We're gonna have to move
Wow.
it down a little bit.
My wife says she has. Which one is the? Dinosaur short arm.
Oh, yeah,
It's here.
yeah.
T-Rex ones.
But that cartoon is what made that,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay. Then these are the election day ones. That are no's as well for not being registered to vote. There are 15 of these.
Mm.
So,
People really want to vote badly, aren't they?
yeah, and I didn't notice when I looked at Becky's notes, let me pull the letters out. There weren't that many that were removed. You know, a lot of times we have them where they've been removed. There's just a handful in there.
But now they're all re-registered to vote, so it
Yes.
shouldn't be a problem in the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's find out.
Which one do you have?
Evans is the last name.
Okay.
What are you looking for?
There's one in here that, where, I think it's the last one, where
Yes.
okay, where the voter was very confused.
Oh,
And there's the card that they filled out is very confusing. So, and I don't even think there's an actual ballot in the envelope because the voter decided not to, but we went ahead and treated it
oh.
as
yeah.
if there was one
Yeah.
in there, but yeah.
Okay.
And then let's go through the letters. But you guys can all sign them if,
Yeah, you can all send them.
these are straightforward. These are not registered to vote. The
Right.
clerk cannot find their voter registration or.
Okay.
You
I'll
gotta do
take
stuff right.
follow up.
Gotta be fair.
So I need to X the no
Yes, and then.
and sign.
Mhm.
And you probably had in alphabetical.
No, we'll have
Okay.
to go back because we have to make address labels and all of that, so we will go back and get all that sorted. Okay. All right, so the rest of these are yeses. Well, I say the rest. There's a set of yeses and then a set of maybes.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, so these are ones where we were able to confirm that the voter was registered to vote. And so they voted a provisional, and so these will count. Some of these, one of them should have been a transfer, but this was a new concept for our poll workers too. And so they voted them a provisional. They should have done the county to county transfer, but, and one of them, whenever we're processing applications for voter registration, sometimes their applications, because of the mail, don't come in. We've already got the rosters made, but if it's postmarked, they are eligible, but that means sometimes they don't appear in our books.
Yeah.
So these are all ones that are yeses. They were not, they didn't show up initially in the poll book, but we were able to confirm their voter registration, so these would all be yeses.
And these are
And
all,
there are three of these. These are from early vote. And then they just get a letter. They don't have to have a letter signed,
Oh,
but
okay.
because they're gonna get a letter saying that their ballot did count.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
And then. Then this is just one from election day, not registered to vote. I think the issue with this one, they couldn't find the voter registration initially because of a name change.
Oh,
And so then the clerk was able to confirm their voter registration, but the supervisor had them vote a provisional.
Mhm.
So that way we have the opportunity to further investigate. So this
Yeah.
one would be a yes as well. And this last set of yeses are voters who requested absentee ballots, but their absentee ballot didn't show up, or for some reason they didn't turn it in. So this one is from early vote, and this would be a yes because we never received their absentee ballot.
Good.
So therefore we can count their provisional.
You've been signing a lot. I'll let this one slide.
You just don't know how much I appreciate that.
Be more sassy.
And we had 3 from election day, same thing, had requested absentee ballots. Their absentee ballots did not return, so these are eligible to be counted.
Okay.
One for each.
It's more.
Was reading the notes.
Yeah. Then the rest of these, I will have the commission sign next Thursday. If we find out if they're yeses or nos. The rest of these are no IDs. So these voters failed to present ID at the polling location or failed to have approved photo ID at the polling location. So you see that there are 3 from early vote, and then there are 7 from election day. If these voters present ID by Monday following the election, we will be able to count these. So we will keep these.
And they all got a
people-
letter.
They all, as they voted, they all received a
Okay.
letter. So yes, so. And if they don't show by Monday at noon, then they will receive a letter saying that their ballot did not
Right.
count. So yeah, so. And that is, the very last one that you see at the bottom.
Mhm.
This was a voter on the very first day of voting during early vote, when we didn't realize we were trying to cancel. This was a voter who was a registered Democrat, received a ballot, but then wanted to change and vote a Republican ballot. And when we tried to cancel the ballot, we couldn't. We couldn't figure out why we couldn't cancel it, because we thought we should have been able to cancel it. So we had to vote this one a provisional but she received a regular ballot that actually went into the ballot box. But because it was processed in the poll book as a provisional, I had them select court order extension, which is one we
Oh,
never
yeah.
use.
Oh my
So it
God.
flags it as like, oh, hey, there's
Yeah.
something odd about this one. And that is why. So it's still on the list, but technically it is not a ballot that will be added because it has already been added. And then we've got with ESNS and figured out the reason why we couldn't cancel is because we have to cancel through the poll book that is the polling place. So we would have to log into that one, which we were able to do afterwards.
Yeah.
So, but that's why that is on this list. And so
So she's already been.
she's already, yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't have her, she didn't even fill out
Okay.
absent or provisional paperwork. We just handled it. We spoiled the one that printed because it printed the little black box at the
Mhm.
top. And we had spoiled that one, put a blank one in, and she voted a regular ballot. So yeah,
Super.
so.
Okay.
And the computer system powers to be didn't let anybody know this is.
And, and we tested it, but what we didn't test was different polling place to different polling place, because we have always, when we've
Mhm.
canceled ballots, and we've had to cancel ballots for
Mhm.
various reasons, we've always just used the clerk's tablets. And when they did this new update, it
Mm.
requires you to log into the
Yeah,
polling
exactly.
place.
Yeah.
And so once we found that out, easygoing.
Okay.
But that
Good.
first afternoon when this happened, it was like at 5:50 in the afternoon. It was like at the end of the day, we're like, I don't know what to do. Let's
Yeah.
just do this, and then we'll figure it
Leave
out.
it
Because
till
you want,
tomorrow.
yeah, you want the voter to be able to vote and not have to vote a provisional. And so that was why that is on our list.
Okay.
So.
Super. Appreciate taking care of all this. This is a lot of extra confusion.
So, but I'm so
well
proud.
done.
They
Yeah.
all did them out of the poll
Yeah.
book, which made this part that much easier.
Oh,
So
good
yeah, because
point.
normally we have to input all of this.
Ah,
And I was able to just run the reports and then sort. So yes,
super.
so
That's a really nice process.
yeah, yeah, it was.
Okay.
And I appreciate them going back and if they're not in the poll book, double checking if they met the requirements. So I really appreciate you and Becky's office. So thank you for doing that.
Super. We are ready for the fall.
Well, we got one more election before then.
Macy's going, no.
We got one more.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, next item, ballot approval.
Okay, so I always think when we look at these ballots and you have copies of them, they look minuscule. They look like there's something wrong with them
Mhm.
because there's nothing on them other than the two races. So we have a runoff election for Secretary of State, and then we have a runoff election for county judge. And so these are the only two names that are on the ballot. The other thing is the order of their names on the ballot is the order of their names from the original ballot. So we don't redo the ballot draw or anything like that. So, and this is a sample of the absentee ballot and then a sample of the express vote ballot.
Okay,
So,
they look good to me.
Let's see.
Can we have a motion to,
I'll move that we
Accept them
accept
as shown.
these ballots as provided.
I second that.
all right, we have a motion and a second to accept what we have in front of us. All in favor?
Aye.
Super. And there will not be any Democratic ballot because there are no Democratic races.
that is correct.
Super. Okay. Notice of election, March the 31st.
So, since I left that 3 in there. So this reflects just the two, races. Because we won't have as many absentee ballots for this one,
Mhm.
because essentially it's cut in half, because only Republicans will be sent. We will only canvass absentee ballots on Monday, March 30th. And then Tuesday, March 31st at 10. I do have the commission not coming in until 7 PM because there's not as much to
Right.
do for that. And then we will do ballot remakes on April the 1st, the review April the 2nd, and then ballot hearing and certification. And then the polling locations, we have obviously the ones that weren't open. Sonora and Trinity Methodist have been added to those sites that will not be available for this election. The only other thing that I've added to this that we didn't have in our previous notice, I went ahead, since this will publish in the paper, to put
Oh,
this
yes.
eligible voters
Yeah.
of who actually is eligible to vote, which would be Republican, if you voted a Republican primary ballot, a nonpartisan ballot, or did not vote.
Right.
And so I went ahead
That's
and added that
Probably a
language
good thing.
to it. So yeah, so
Yeah.
that would be the notice.
Okay.
I appreciate you doing that because I know we're gonna get so many questions
Yeah.
about that. Are you also gonna post it on your socials?
Yes, as soon as we get done with today and get these mailed out, I will start to update the county website. We'll update Facebook posts and all of that. So yes, so we'll be doing that in the next couple of days, getting the sample ballots posted and all of that. So yeah.
Well, you gotta open all these up because it's countywide and statewide election.
It is, yes, but now we will only have early voting in the county clerk's office. We will not have any early voting outside of the
This
county
just be
clerk's office.
election day.
Mhm.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah, divide this one up.
I thought you were just saving the best for last.
Oh.
Let me swell her head.
And so we will have open all the sites minus Sonora, that we had open for the primary election. But because the voter turnout will be much less, and if you think about it, because we had almost the same amount of Democratic
Yeah.
ballots cast as we had Republican ballots, that really does narrow down the voter turnout.
Right.
So we'll use less equipment. We'll just send 3 express votes out to each site, 3 poll books, because the ballot will be fast. And the voters who come in to vote typically have already voted, so it will be a much faster process.
And we'll have less
Yes,
because it is a runoff.
yeah. we will.
But it'll still take till 8:30 or 9 o'clock to get all the
Well, true.
ballot boxes in.
It will, because you still have Evansville open and Winslow open. We still have all of those places. But I do think it is better to not consolidate, because for voters, if I'm planning on voting and I voted in Winslow,
That's where I want to go back.
I want to go back there. And of course, Sonora was not available for
Right.
us. So, but yeah.
Okay. Other
And-
business. Oh,
and
go
the-
ahead.
My question is, so the absentee ballots, when a person requests that, we send them a letter saying this is what it is and how to respond. And the mail system's so slow now. And I know we had somebody had FedEx it back to us. I kind of wonder if we need to make a note to people, like, we may not get it in time. You may consider using a different next day, or I'm not sure if we should mention it. I'm just trying to troubleshoot it to figure out, just to ensure ballots are received on time.
So
Even though it's not our
Yeah.
responsibility, I
Right.
just hate not, like, a person went through that trouble of filling it out, mailing it back. Obviously, if they do it the day before, there's no way we would
Right.
get it.
Right.
But if they do it in a reasonable amount of time,
So one of the really positive things about the county being a PYO county, so for a runoff election, technically, we are not required to have the absentee ballots into the clerk's office until 10 days before the election, which would mean that's mailing out, them returning it, and all of that. But because we are PYO county, we will do a preliminary test on the ballots on Monday. I will have them in the clerk's office Monday afternoon.
Mhm.
So the clerk can go ahead and mail out early. They won't wait until the 10 days. So it will give those voters who will get that runoff ballot more time
great.
to do it. So that is one of the really nice features of being PYO, is the ability to do that, because it is definitely a concern, because technically 10 days before is really not enough time.
It's
So, yeah.
not.
So,
We also have the runoff ballots for Uocava already here,
So-
correct?
so interestingly enough, all of the instant runoff ballots were all on the Democratic side.
Oh.
So we will not have
Oh,
to,
you're kidding.
we will not have to do anything with those.
Super.
But technically, yes, if
Yeah.
you have voted a Republican primary ballot and you were a Uocava voter, yes, it would have been, So, which reminds me,
What were the 3 exceptions, or the 3
oh,
over there?
if you voted in the Republican primary, the nonpartisan, or if you didn't vote at all.
If you're Uocava and you didn't vote at all, are you?
So Uocava would have been sent an automatic special runoff ballot.
Oh,
And
it's
those,
included in it.
Mhm, it was, which that reminds me, this is that one absentee that we set as provisional for no ID. We had this other one. Other than this, we have no proof that this would have been military. So I don't think that we can include this as count.
So
Okay.
Becky went back and checked.
She did, and this is what I showed you, and this is all that they had. So,
So I'm a little confused. When they asked for the absentee ballot and we mailed them this ballot, it indicated it was a military one only because of that runoff that we normally don't send to a normal absentee.
so the commission can make a decision.
Okay.
So when we mailed the ballot, this was included. So automatically, this told me that this was a Uokava voter. Now, a Uokava voter gets it too, but you have to be military to not have to show ID. So if you're just an overseas citizen, you still have to show ID. So this told me that this wasn't a regular ballot. This is technically was some type of Uokava ballot. And then on the voter statement, the back side of it is the Uokava part. And that was why I took a second look at it.
Right.
But when I look at the application does not reflect that it is a military Uokava.
And here in section 2, he checked the I'm a US citizen, et cetera. But there's also an option, I'm an active service member, and it was not checked.
And that's what would have been like, oh yeah, then
Yeah.
that means we don't have to look for ID. We don't have to have the ID. And so, now the only thing we didn't open was that. And if we wanted to open that to see if there's a ballot in or an ID in there, we could do that.
Just to determine for sure.
Want to steam it open.
Yeah. We need to give every benefit.
But yeah,
Nope,
there's
nothing. Okay.
no ID in there. So yeah. So, and then if you open this up, sometimes we have to open these up, because sometimes it's
Right,
setting in
right.
there. But yeah,
So this could have been a military spouse.
yeah, because military dependents also
Yeah.
don't have to
Yeah.
show ID either. So yeah. And sometimes the mailing address can let us say that
Right.
definitively, we know, because if it's going to a military base, we did have one where it went to a military base. I mean, and he was a midshipman, so we had something that said,
Right.
yep, this is military.
Yeah.
So that was in the paperwork we had.
Okay. Kind of stuck if they don't check more than one box.
Yeah.
Is there a box separately for dependents rather than?
And just to be clear, that box is not checked on here that
Yes.
says that I am a spouse or dependent of an active service member of the United States Armed Forces. So that box was not checked. The only one here is checked is that I am a United citizen residing outside of the.
And that, I mean, technically, it is a Uokava, but it's
It
not
is.
a military.
Right.
Uokava.
If it was, we could accept it because they don't need to prove ID. And unfortunately, in that envelope, there was no ID. It was not with any of the other paperwork. So I feel like we're gonna have to follow the rules of this. Not count it as much as I want to.
Yeah.
So, okay. Okay. So, and we had one other absentee that didn't have ID either,
Oh.
but that one, there's no question, that's a regular one.
What's the remedy for absentee if they didn't
So
mail?
they have to show it in person. They can't mail it to us. But sometimes they vote absentee, because they're just out of town. They might be back in town. So we will try and contact these two individuals to just let them know. So yeah.
Good. Okay.
In person, do we accept it by virtual?
No,
No, okay.
as far
Just
as,
checking.
yeah.
Not at this point.
Now, during COVID, we would meet the individuals at, but they still had to bring it in person. You cannot scan it or send it in. It has to be done in person. So, yeah.
Actually, I did read that Arkansas is doing this digital ID now.
Yes.
So I don't remember if I signed up for that or what. But
It's an app on your phone.
yes, that's-
And when we did training, we had to really discuss that it's an
Oh.
app on the phone and not someone snapping a picture of their
right,
ID on their kitchen table.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
because
so that
that's
will be the
not
future, I
digital.
guess.
Well, yeah, and several people have it on their
Yeah.
phone. So
Okay.
yeah.
I do.
Okay,
Absolutely.
you've got it.
Mhm.
Right,
We're in that age.
other business, anything? Debbie's looking at me like there's something. Nothing, okay. Well then, we are adjourned.
Okay.
Until.
Hold on,
Thur-
what's our next meeting?
Thursday at 9.